are you? We hear that so often in our day and say it so often in passing. We're really not expecting a true answer. How are you? Fine. How are you? How are you? Good. Oh, I'm okay. How are you? And in my circles, if yours are anything like mine, you're now hearing a new word. Busy. How are you? Busy. How about you? Oh, likewise. And in fact, I even heard a double busy the other day. How are you? Oh, busy, busy. Jesus says in his word, whoever seeks finds. Well, we've sought busyness and we certainly have found it. What I'd like to talk today is about pursuit of God's presence in our life. I was hit by Romans 8:38 recently when Paul tells us, I am convinced of this, that neither death nor life can separate us from the love of God. Nothing can separate us. And I paused on the word life. How have I let life separate me from God? In my busyness, it's easy to do. God says he is with us always. Behold, I am with you always. But am I always with him? And the pursuit of his presence in our life has to be a choice, a decision, something I daily, hourly, and secondly go back to and seek his presence. It's the only way that I can be with the God who is always with me. In Deuteronomy 20:19, we're told to choose life. Now choose life so that you and your children may live. Love the Lord your God. Listen to his voice. Hold fast to him, for the Lord is your life. Choose life, a decision. David teaches us this in Psalm 103, when he admonishes his whole being, his soul, to bless the Lord. Bless the Lord, O my soul, and all that is within me, bless his holy name. Bless the Lord, O my soul. Now, we don't know where David was when he wrote this psalm. Was he in the king's palace, or was he hiding in a cave running for his life? But what we do know is that he knew that he needed to get his whole being in right alignment with God. So he told his being, soul, bless God. And not just some of his soul, all of it. The parts that are right with God, the parts that are still messed up, and the parts that don't care. All of it need to bless God. And then he told us how to do it, by remembering all of his benefits. And then David goes on to list all of the benefits of God in Psalm 103. Bless the Lord, O my soul, and forget none of his benefits. Who pardons your iniquities? Who heals your diseases? Who redeems your life from the pit? Who crowns you with loving kindness and compassion? A choice. It is a choice we must make and act on it. And then we must love God. Love the Lord your God. The greatest commandment. Love the Lord your God. And the only way we can love God is to allow him to love us first. I'm reminded of this when I think of bringing our baby daughter home. She's now 18, but bringing our baby daughter home from Russia. She had been in a Russian orphanage the first year of her life. And in that setting where there are more babies and caregivers, she had learned to console herself by crying herself to sleep. I, on the other hand, and my husband were convinced that we were going to rock her to sleep, because that's what loving parents do. And she would have nothing of it. It was 6 agonizing months of us trying to woo her, console her, sing to her, hold her, until she would relax in our arms, look in our eyes, and fall asleep. How often am I that child? As I kick and scream, I have so many things on my plate, I can't even look in God's eyes. And then sometimes I don't even believe the truth that He loves me. And He just wants us to hear Him sing creation's song over us. How He moved heaven and earth just for me, just for you. How He stepped out of the throne room of heaven and came down to earth to save us, to love Him, because He loved us first. And then we must hear His voice and listen to Him. And this is a waiting in His presence, an active, alert waiting. Much like my dog when I was in the dog obedience ring, and she had to do the stay position. She would lay down in a stay, but she wasn't asleep. Her eyes would follow me wherever I went, because she knew I might give her a hand signal, a command in the form of a come by a hand signal. I might tell her to change positions by a hand signal. Her ears were erect and alert, because I might give her a voice command to tell her what to do next. We have to listen and give space to listen to His voice. If God is always with us, He's probably telling us something, and we need to be ready to hear. And then hold fast. And that hold fast is a tight grip that we do quick at any sign that we need help. Much like a toddler walking with their parents and something startles them, and then they grab for their mom and dad and they hold tight. They grab their hand or their leg and they don't let go. That's how we have to be in God's presence. We can't let go. So that when we get that news, that phone call that we never want to receive, the word that my sister had been killed in a boating accident and wouldn't walk this earth again. And every morning after that would wake up with the suffocation of grief on my chest like a ton of bricks. I had to hold fast. This scripture is what I held on to. Lord, I choose life today. I choose life, for you are my life. And when I got that flippant question, how are you doing? I would want to scream. Everything from my flesh and my bones and my being would want to scream out, don't you know my sister is dead? How do you think I'm doing? And that scripture would come and I would hear God's voice, choose life. I could say that, I'm choosing life today. I'm holding fast to God. Choose life. God tells us to pray without ceasing. And the only way that I have found that I can pray without ceasing is if my life is a prayer. And I am choosing life with a capital L, for the Lord is my life. So I say today again, how are you?